Good day everyone. Welcome to another video with Time Merchants. My name is Chris. I'm the owner of the shop, and what we're going to talk about today is radioactivity. A lot of people are worried about all the radioactive watches and how dangerous they could be. As you hear, we have here the GMC 300E Plus, which is the nuclear radiation detector. You're gonna hear it pinging every few seconds in a normal environment. So you're gonna have here, you're gonna see we're gonna be around 18, 19, most probably it's gonna be around 18 or 19 pings per minute. So a lot of the watches that are from the 50s and earlier on, they're radioactive because they had radioactive material to loom on the dial. One of the reasons why the dials are also damaged or aged in a certain way, most of the time they're brown or they're gonna be aging under the hands, is because the hands are having luminous material which is radioactive, and that's going to be burning through the paint or through the lacquer of the dial. I have four watches on the table here. So a Tudor 7929, then it's going to be a bubble back Oyster Perpetual from the 50s, 1953-54. Then I have a 1962 Speedmaster, the 105.002 with the alpha hands. Then I'm gonna have a Ed White, and we're gonna see how they're reacting to the Geiger counter. We're gonna start with a Tudor, and here it is. You're gonna see it's gonna go a bit crazy. So anywhere under 100 counts per minute is gonna be relatively not harmful, but I do have hands here from the 50s for Rolex Submariners that I have in my personal collection that are gonna ping way over the 150 200 counts per minute, and those are relatively starting to be a bit dangerous. Otherwise, then wearing the watch a few times every now and then, it's not dangerous. But you're gonna see here in with this camera here that the counts are pretty much gonna hit the 50 or the 60 on this watch. So now I'm gonna reset the Geiger counter, and we're gonna have a very good idea of what's happening with the second watch here. So even though the luminous material is very white in this case, you're gonna see that the watch is still very reactive. As you see, it's pinging quite faster than the Tudor before. This one most probably is gonna hit the 60s or the 70s or higher. This one I was doubting about the originality of the loom before having the Geiger counter on it, just because the loom was really too white to my liking. So now I'm resetting the GMC 300 for a third time. Now we're gonna do it on the 105.002 1962. So this one is a Swiss made dial. So this one should also be reacting not very highly, but it should have some reaction here. We're gonna see what it does, but it's not reacting very high from what I've seen before. So the nuclear material is very faint in this one. I think we were reaching maybe 15 or 20 slowly. So it's very close to inert in terms of being dangerous or not. It's really not, so it's pretty good. So it's slowly gonna creep around the 20 mark. So as you can see, each watch is very different from one another, and I'm gonna just bring the hands, the Rolex hands that I have. This is a Ed White 1964-65, and I'm just gonna restart this. Gonna have a very good idea of what tritium does. It's very faint. So as you see, tritium and basically the other one here, the earlier one, even though the loom is very orange, which is very indicative of being radium, it's still very faint in terms of reactions. Actually, both tritium and radium here in those cases have about the same 15 to 20 CPM. Okay, And now we're gonna go with something a bit more radioactive. It's a set of hands for a Submariner 6538, which is the big crown. Okay, so as you see, those are going to go crazy. I just don't need to reset anything. They're gonna hit the red line quite fast. So you're gonna see on the video we're hitting the 900s, the thousands here. So yes, they're pretty dangerous in terms of everyday, but don't worry, if you're wearing it for a few days, you're not gonna be in danger. The most critical part is not to ingest the radium. So as soon as you have it in your body, that's when it can do a lot of damage on the long term, where you're gonna have it in your system and it's gonna start damaging your tissues and your DNA. But normally, even if it's highly radioactive the way it is right now, I'd suggest to wear it every now and then, not on an everyday basis. So there you go. You have the proof that radioactivity is very present in those watches and those parts, and we have quite a bit of reaction from those watches. Anyone that would have such a watch or anything that's radioactive, I'd suggest that you actually try it maybe. Put it on the Geiger counter. If it's something dangerous, you know that you might enjoy it for a few days, but just put it aside if you feel like your arm is tickling, which had happened to me before when I had the famous Pussy Galore or the 6542 GMT, and I could feel that it was very highly radioactive. On that note, I wish you guys a lot of fun, and I'm gonna see you for a next video in the next few weeks. And keep safe, and buy a Geiger counter if needed when you have vintage watches. Enjoy, guys. Have a good one.